Welcome to Stubbs Alderton Markiles, our Santa Monica office. This is our new location here in Santa Monica, in addition to our office in Sherman Oaks. This is what we basically call a destination office, and we have lawyers. We have no lawyers who are sort of permanently located here, but we have lawyers who come and spend time here on a daily basis. There's about a half a dozen of our 17 lawyers who are spending a meaningful amount of time in Santa Monica, and they come in and either locate themselves in the small conference room or the large conference room, or we have lawyer space on the other side. This is our large conference room where we have meetings and things like that, and then this is our balcony space, which you have to take a look at because it's pretty much the most awesome part of the space here in Santa Monica. This is where we do events outside and parties and evening events that are associated with our presence here in our Precelerator program. This is back part here is where the lawyers work real time in these offices here, and then we'll move on to the Precelerator, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. So this is our Precelerator space where we're going to have about 5 different companies located. We've got one that's moved in, our first initial company. We've got 2 more that are starting next week, and we're still taking applications and looking for 2 other companies.
So Scott, how long ago did you finally get to move in here?
So we launched the office on November 15th. It took us a couple of weeks to sort of get everything situated, and we basically moved in and been using the office since the end of the year.
One of the reasons I wanted to come by and talk to you today is that I've been hearing about this Precelerator concept you have going on here now that you've got a good physical location out towards what people are calling Silicon Beach,
right?
Because of our good concentration of tech-minded startups.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about how that came about?
Sure. So when we were contemplating moving into the Santa Monica office and in the Santa Monica area and locating an office here, we decided that what we really wanted to do was something different and more unique than just have a law office, and to differentiate ourselves from the other law firms that were in the space. And given the fact that, like you said, there's such a large concentration of early stage companies here, and we have such a dynamic early stage practice, we thought it would be really cool to try to create an environment that would help really early stage companies, like super early stage companies. And since we kind of capture the legal relationship, which is the earliest relationship around those companies, we didn't want to. We weren't intending to compete with the accelerator programs, Launchpad and Mucker Lab and Amplify and Start Engine, those guys who are out here. So we weren't trying to create another accelerator. In fact, we specifically went around and talked to those guys in advance to let them know what we were doing and make it clear that we weren't competing. What we wanted to do instead was, help super early companies, even teams of people who are contemplating being companies, by taking them in as clients, but then doing a little more for them. So we had the space here, and you saw it in the tour when we walked around, but we will physically locate, we have room for about 5, maybe 6 companies here if we squeeze them in, but we'll physically locate them together, so we'll give them the co-working space attribute that an accelerator has. But beyond that, we don't generally put money around them. They are paying clients of the firm, so we're already providing legal services, doing their formation work, creating their web presence, their privacy policies, all of the typical startup stuff that we're doing for those clients. But then they are now implanted. Well, number one, they don't have the concern or the stress about space and where do I work and am I at home or do I have office or can I have meetings, etc. Because we've given them a physical place to work, a desk with Wi-Fi and printing and coffee and all of that good stuff, and then they have conference rooms that they can come and sit in and have meetings and meet with people here and conduct their business. But we've also sort of immersed them into a real-time legal environment, so they can ask snap questions. They can, as they're formulating something right there while they're in development, they can walk into the office where the lawyers are and say, hey, can I ask you a quick question? Or what do you think about this? Or I'm doing some research here and I've found, so-and-so investor, do you know that person? Can you make an introduction? Who invests in these kinds of transactions? They're just sort of in a real-time environment that we thought would help them, and the name Precelerator kind of connotes what it is. The idea is that at that really early stage, they'll develop faster, they'll coalesce around their business concept, get to the point where they really are now ready to raise money, get into an accelerator program or do something like that, and then that's when they'll launch out of this and into the next phase.
Taking care of that kind of confusing very beginning of starting company, especially for first-time entrepreneurs who suddenly find themselves quitting their jobs and working out of the apartment.
Exactly. And they have the benefit of both sitting alongside, other entrepreneurs going through a similar experience that they can have the shared experience with, but also, unlike a lot of the other environments and co-working environments that are available to them, they are actually in and among the legal team and have real-time access to those resources.
Yeah, that's a pretty unique way of going about it.
Yeah, it's very cool.